So we've got 3 nations in each faction here, all clustered in Europe. We're going for a very sort of tightly focused contest where they're all going to be on top of each other, desperately trying to secure their objectives.
There's only a few hours left of the Paradox Strategy Weekend sale. Click the link in the description to get great deals on Paradox Strategy games.
Hello everyone and welcome to the start of the 3-day war.
Hey everyone.
Today we're going to have 12 players across 4 different teams be competing for your appreciation.
Yes.
Yeah, for a series of objectives. This is not a conventional Hearts of Iron 4 game. We have a series of very specific objectives for each of these teams to carry out. And if they do so, they will receive a point for that achievement at the end of the game. I'm joined by Dan.
Yeah.
Who's here to commentate alongside me. I am Adoy. I'm the community ambassador for Hearts of Iron 4, if you don't know me.
And I'm the game director for Hearts of Iron 4.
And we're going to be spectating on the chaos that will ensue over the next 3 days and 6 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
So, you may be asking, what are the objectives that we're asking these teams to complete? And we're going to go through that team by team, chat to the teams, see what their plans are for the game, and go through their objectives in detail. So, let's start off, I think, by talking to the Northern Lights faction, which is Britain, Sweden, and Finland. And their objectives, if you're wondering, are to... I'm trying to read them here. So to take Coimbra, which is in Portugal, part of the Franco-Iberian Alliance, and also to take Bremen, which is a German city, part of the Central Powers, and to have the largest navy in the world. Now, the navy is going to be measured not just by raw ship count, because that would obviously be biased in favour of submarines and destroyers, but there's a point system to be played here, which will be smaller ships, so destroyers, submarines will have, for example, 1 point or 2 points, and it will scale all the way up to aircraft carriers, which have 10 points. So at the end of the game, we'll add up the ships that are left of each of the factions and work out who has the largest, most powerful navy in the world, based on this point system, so it's fair. Hello, is that the Northern Lights faction?
Hello.
Well,
yeah.
So what do we make of your objectives then? What do you think?
You're
good.
Well, I think we're doing good. I think these are nice objectives. We
Yeah.
gotta make sure there's a balance of power in the east.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one thing I'm worried about.
Snipe
We
some
need to
stuff.
somehow keep that stable.
Yes.
Optimistic.
I did mention this
that's
actually before,
hard.
everyone watching. So in addition to those objectives to do the Navy, we've also got the AI war. So basically the Chinese and Japanese war, which you know is a very prominent war that breaks out early in the game. And so we're basically giving each of the, or 3 of the 4 factions have got a stake in that conflict. One is supporting Japan, one supporting China, and one is trying to make sure that nobody wins and chaos reigns for the whole game.
And this would be these guys.
Yes, the Northern Lights are our chaos merchants for the Chinese theatre.
Yeah. And to make sure nobody cheats, if anyone actually joins their side in the war, the other sides get a point.
So the factions can only influence the Chinese-Japanese war by volunteers, by lend-lease, by attaches, anything they can do that is not actually joining the war on either side. They can't interfere, and if they do interfere, everyone else gets a point but them. So we'll be seeing as the game progresses. How are you guys gonna sort of ensure that no one wins?
Well, my main thought was that we're gonna try to kill as many naval invasions from Japan as possible,
Okay.
and then just let them otherwise deal with the front line, because that should hopefully stabilize quite easily if China doesn't have to worry about naval invasions.
Yeah. Okay.
But
And
that's
so-
gonna be up to
so
Flory.
bog them down.
So if we fail, it's Flory's fault.
Okay. Well, you know, China's probably the weaker of the two, so one
Yeah.
side is supporting Japan, the other side is supporting China, so we should probably support China a little bit.
You got to prop up the little guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, support the little guy. Balance of power.
And then in Europe, you've got to take Coimbra in Portugal and Bremen in Germany. It's quite geographically diverse objectives there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be like an endgame snipe.
Strong.
Not gonna go in early on either of those. Then you're gonna play the long game.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, we only scored them at the end of the game, so...
Yes, it's all about who holds them at the end of the game. You can hold Bremen for the entire session. If you lose it at the end, you lose it and you lose that point.
Yeah.
So why are you not giving out objectives for cool stuff or giving out points for cool stuff?
Because it's about, it's World War II. You don't get points for being cool, Daniel. You get points for winning.
I did float the idea of giving bonus points for anyone nuking Denmark, though.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if
take that
anyone
into
else has
account.
accepted that yet.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
With your strategies. Let's talk next to. So how about the French? The targets potentially of their naval invasion in Portugal. So the Franco-Iberian alliance, which is Portugal, Spain, and the French, as you can see, and their objectives, which I appear to have lost, are here. So to take Florence in northern Italy, which is doesn't appear to have a tag. There it is.
Yeah, it's
There it is.
It's sort of mid there.
So, but it's not the state; it's just the province, the city of Florence. They have to take. They can lose all of this land here as long as they've got that one city. They've got the objective. So it's okay. Sorry. we'll let them get started whilst we ramble.
Yeah, we're gonna run pretty fast until the Spanish Civil War.
So as well as Florence, it's also Bremen. So both the French and the British have to take Bremen. So we're going to be seeing whether or not they decide to actually fight over that, or if they're going to be trying to both be fighting Germany at the same time and outmaneuvering each other.
It can only be one winner, though.
Only one person can hold it, whether or not they're allies or not. If you don't hold it, you don't get the point. In addition to that, they're also having the largest navy, so they are the French sort of the British direct rivals. These two are going to be really slugging it out to see who has the largest navy. And then the third objective for the French is not the AI war related, it's just simply to have no enemy troops in their core territory at the end of the game. So at the end of the game, if they've got a single German or Italian division occupying one core territory of these three nations, they don't get that point. They've got to be completely clear of foreign troops, and they can have a point for that one. So let's talk to the French, which I believe is Feedback, and his two glorious teammates.
Yes.
Hello.
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 So, the Franco-Iberian alliance. It's an unlikely trio. How are you going to go about achieving your objectives?
We are going to play exceptionally safe. I think we're going to go for the easy point, and then if we get the opportunity, if someone makes a fatal error, then I think maybe the first goal, the control Florence to Bremen, I think that might be an opportunity we might go for.
So which one's your safe goal, do you think?
Oh, I think probably the second one.
The second one, to have the largest navy.
Is that a navy combined of all three of us?
Yes, it's all three of your combined navies, but you are facing off against the combined navies of Britain, Sweden, and Finland. So you're gonna try and take the Royal Navy down a peg or two, or just sort of try and outbuild it.
Oof, I think we're gonna build. We're gonna get those bathtubs. I'm gonna push them out to sea. We'll have loads of them.
So many bathtubs. We'll
Fair
be
enough.
the bath capital of the world.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about the AI war? Are you guys gonna? I mean, you don't get a point for it, but are you gonna try and mess with the others?
Yes.
Probably try and establish a status quo so nobody wins anything ever.
Yes, because of course you may not get a point, but you can stop the enemy from getting a point, which is just as valuable.
Yeah.
Great. All right, we'll let you guys get to your scheming, and we'll move on to our next faction, which
Central
is
Powers.
Central Powers. So with Germany, Poland, and Hungary. So these guys have got the objectives to first of all to take Luleå in Sweden, which of course was the main sort of iron ore export port during the war. From Sweden, and also Besancon in northern France. So a little town sort of behind the Maginot Line, which will be quite tricky for them to get to, yeah. So you've got to try and come around from the north. And then also Turkey must not capitulate. So
this one's really
Central
interesting.
Powers have got to do everything they can to ensure that Turkey doesn't capitulate. If Turkey capitulates even once, even if they can free the land later, they've lost that point. So they've really got to try and get over here from their European power base.
At least get air cover.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And then their fourth objective, or third or fourth, depending on how you count, is that China must win the AI war. So they are batting 100% for the Chinese. And the way that China will win the AI war, because obviously it's a little bit unfair to expect them to navally invade Japan, is simply to remove all Japanese territory and troops from the mainland of Asia. So if they can get down to Korea and through Manchuria, then they will have achieved that objective and they will have won the AI war by our standard. So can we talk to the Central Powers? Asked what they're up to with their schemes and plots and plans to try and achieve victory. Should be the Prussian Prince. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you guys getting on? What were you thinking early on then?
We're plotting.
You're plotting?
Oh.
That's good to hear.
I'm
what are your
totally
plots?
not doing something related to Austria. I was gonna say Australia there.
Maybe later.
So you're 100% not going to, Anschluss, Austria by chance? That's not a thing you're going to do?
That's not happening. Definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear you're being peaceful.
I mean, maybe defensive strategy could work.
Yes, well, it could work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unlikely,
we're gonna
though.
build forts next to Austria.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's where the threat's going to be coming.
Yeah, you got to be really scared of that Austrian army coming over the border, causing you trouble.
But you guys are probably the stronger faction, I think. But you also have the trickier objectives.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys got any particular strategies to capture your land ones? You've got Lilea in Sweden and then Besancon behind the Maginot Line. Pretty tricky to get to.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what we do there. I won't reveal any super secret spicy
I'm sure
sauce.
nobody else is watching your stream.
Yes.
There's not going to be any spies, I bet.
Yeah.
We can talk. We're sorry.
Okay.
One plan is to give white flag to France.
Well, that is tough talk there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see how that plays out. Well, good luck. Good luck with your plans. And we'll check in with you later on. Which leaves our final faction, which is Italy's faction, which is the Mediterranean MADMEN. So Italy, Yugoslavia and Greece are our trio here. And so their objectives, if you are following along, are to take Budapest, so the capital of the central power of Hungary, control every island in and entrance to the Mediterranean. So we're talking the straits here in Turkey, we're talking the Suez Straits. There goes the Spanish Civil War. Looks like they chose to be nationalist in that, the players. So as they chose nationalist, the faction sticks with the nationalist nation here. So yeah, every island in and entrance to the Med. So they've got to take, a few, not a massive amount of territory, but sort of strategic points throughout the Med. And then also their third objective is for Japan to win the AI war. So Italy and Germany are going to be in direct conflict, not in Europe, but in Asia, as the Italians try to bat for the Japanese to get as successful as they can. So let's talk to the Mediterranean MADMEN.
Yes.
See how they're thinking early on. Hello.
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 So, you MADMEN, what are you thinking early on?
Mad plans.
Mad plans.
Mediterranean dream.
I'm glad to hear it. You're hoping to secure Mare Nostrum, essentially.
The Roman Empire will be restored.
Oh,
Yeah. Drain the sea for
that
farmland.
that is big talk right there.
We're going to build a large...
Anything in particular you're going to be striving towards first, or sort of waiting to see how things develop?
Mostly waiting to see right now.
Yeah,
Waiting to see?
we don't want to divulge our great plans.
Oh,
so early on.
another faction keeping their cards close to their chest.
Yeah. You think you can say which one you think is going to be your biggest threat?
That would also be divulging too many plans. I think.
Don't worry, no one's listening. It's just you and me. We're just chatting.
Yeah.
No one's watching. There's no other people here. It's fine. You can tell us. Very, very guarded, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the AI war? You got back for Japan. You gonna tell us anything about that one? How are you gonna approach that one? Volunteers, Lend-Lease?
This is a good question.
Yeah, good question. Maybe volunteers.
Yeah.
If I have some troops to spare, I think I would like to send volunteers, but we see because you cannot send volunteers when you are in another war. So.
Ah, yes, that's true. Once you go to war, no more volunteers. So it's a question of whether you prioritize your land objectives to take land, or your AI war. But of course, one of you can be at war and another one can be at peace. So you can try and sort of finagle it that way, with one nation doing the conquering in Europe and another doing the support to the AI in China, or Japan in this case, isn't it? Yes. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we'll let you begin your plotting. and wait to see how things develop.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for everyone watching at home, you may have been a bit sort of confused there with us going through the objectives, but in brief, every team has 3 or 4 different objectives, depending on how you count, and they have to achieve them over the next 3 days. So it might be taking a certain province, or having the largest navy, or owning a certain group of provinces, and also influencing the AI war in China and Japan in a certain direction. So whether China should win or Japan, or there should be no winner at all. Yeah. So it's a different kind of HOI4 game. Each nation's got its objectives, and they have to achieve them, and only one can achieve them. Some of them have the same objective twice, 2 different factions, but only one can get the point. So it really is up to each faction whether they decide to ally with another team or go to war with them, because every faction has got some incentive to fight the other factions. But of course, if you take on all the factions at once, you might not achieve your objectives. So it's a question of balancing for each of the teams.
I suspect we'll see some early alliances.
Yeah.
Before people figure out who's the weakest and the strongest.
Of course, yeah. But of course, alliances struck early don't always last the distance, and
probably not.
There may be some backstabbing happening at the end that.
But we have a restriction, so there's no wars for the first year that you can declare. But after that, it's free game.
Yeah. And war goals will be free at 25% world tension. So we're using the custom game rules we brought in 1.6. So at 25% world tension, everyone can justify on everyone else with no restrictions, and also volunteers are completely free in this game. So those are the 2 changes we've made to the rules to liven things up a bit. And as soon as it's 1937, they'll be able to attack and cause mischief for each other. So at the moment, all our action is the Spanish Civil War here between the player nationalist and the AI Republicans. Hopefully, well, I imagine we'll see the nationalists winning here.
Yeah, I suspect so. There's no player involvement from the outside yet. I mean, you have AI Soviet Union helping out, but we were actually talking about that. Soviet Union might be a bit of a wild card because we don't have restrictions on calling in trying to get AIs involved, right?
Yeah, the AI can't be in the team's factions, but the AI can do what the AI likes, and it might well wade into back to a war whilst it's going on, and the players will be wrong-footed a little bit. So yeah, we have the Soviet Union and Japan is AI, and China's AI, and those will attack what they like, and the US is also AI. So there are going to be some AI wildcards coming in, which will be something to look out for as the game progresses.
The Soviets will be hard to get in though, because they're already in their own faction.
Yes.
But America might be a possibility.
Depends whether the Soviets decide to do their war with Germany focus, which of course would bring them in a very big way.
Yeah.
And cause the Germans all sorts of problems.
Yeah, pretty standard build path so far here. I'm looking at see if Germany was trying to go for some early stuff, but I suspect people are going to be in for the long game.
Britain's going straight for the shadow scheme, trying to get that payoff. So maybe Britain is anticipating an early war, because of course you only get the factories once you're at war.
Yeah.
So for Britain to be doing that focus as essentially his second focus is interesting.
Yeah.
He's thinking that there'll be an early war going on there. Flurry worry.
Doesn't mean that they got to start it though. But
no, they could be preparing for the worst. Come the start of 1937.
Yeah, I mean he's going for fighters straight off the bat.
Ooh. Gone straight for fighters, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. See if that means anything.
Yeah, be interesting.
Could just be a defensive move, but.
Italy, meanwhile, what's Italy doing? He hasn't got a focus set. He's allowing there to be no focus. So maybe he's saving his political power up for something.
No, because he's full. Yeah, maybe. He's maxed out his waiting time for it though.
He's gone to. Yeah. He's gone to partial. He's above 50% war support.
Yeah.
So he could, in theory, go war economy. Which may be part of his thinking. But he's gone to. Did they start partial? I can't remember what Italy starts on.
I can't remember either. It's.
They've got troops lining up on the French and Austrian borders. It's interesting how these players are either preparing to attack each other, or just preparing to be attacked.
Yeah, I mean it's smart to put stuff on the border anyway. Yes, everybody knows what you're gonna start with anyway, so there's no reason to try and hide it. And nobody's trying to help Ethiopia.
Anyone needs a reminder of the factions? We've got 3 nations in each faction here, all clustered in Europe. We're going for a very sort of tightly focused contest where they're all going to be on top of each other, desperately trying to secure their objectives.
Yeah, they're very. It's going to be very across each other. I think I'm mostly looking forward to see how the Central Powers are going to manage to keep Turkey free, because that's going to be real tough.
Yes, I think Germany, the German faction, the Central Powers have got probably the biggest land military clout in terms of troop numbers and factory counts, but they've got a lot to do. They've got to try and keep Turkey in, and they've got to potentially fight. Well, all 3 factions have incentives to fight them, so they could end up in sort of quite a defensive war.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how they manage that.
Yeah. Someone in chat's asking if it's an open multiplayer game, and no, it's a special invite only.
We have our 12 players, and they are an elite select number.
Oh yeah.
You like the faction colours being visible? Yes, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
You can see our 4 teams here. We can early move. So it looks like the nationalists are clearing up in Spain.
Yeah,
they've defeated the northern pocket around Bilbao, and they're pressing in towards Catalonia's coast.
Yeah, most of it
should be fairly routine for Mordred Viking to mop up.
Still a little surprised nobody sent anything along, but
yeah, the Germans could have done. They decided to keep out of it, which is interesting because they could have been grinding army experience.
Yeah,
for their divisions.
Yeah, I figured it could get away with that even if they haven't said that they're actively against each other. You know, they could have done a bit of a non-aggression pact, but still do it for the XP.
Yeah, they could have just done it in a way that wouldn't have impeded their win, but just gave them some extra army XP. But they've decided not to.
Yeah. Okay, so Italy is now doing a focus. Maybe they were trying to do a quick win in Ethiopia, and that was why they were waiting around. And now it's bogged down in the mountains a little bit.
Interesting. Right,
yeah, but they're doing industrial effort now, so that makes sense. But yeah.
Yes, it's early stage, everyone, where all the factions are keeping their cards close to their chest. German volunteers to Spain. Okay.
Yeah.
So to the... which side?
Yeah, I was going to say... oh, well,
I don't see them...
Not yet, but they're probably not gotten there yet.
Yes, interesting.
Oh, actually, never mind. It doesn't show in Diplo, but I can see it when I observe. So there's 5 incoming.
Oh, he went to the nationalist side.
Yeah.
So he's helping the...
Yep. So he's coming in here on a very thin front.
Yeah, so those are infantry, aren't they? So he's just trying to... I imagine... grinding. I mean, you wouldn't have a big incentive to help the French alliance out with its war.
Yes. But he is, I guess he's gotten rid of his armor then.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing. He was training up a huge number of divisions with tanks in because he had that massive deficit of light tanks. So, I'm not quite sure what he's up to there. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I mean, this is
50 divisions.
But well, he's got 50 of them. It's gonna be interesting. Oh, here we go.
He's switching it around.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a look at the British faction. What they're getting up to now.
Yeah. So go to
just still doing that
stuff. Diplomacy. They're still on this shadow
anything interesting with their production?
Yeah. So.
Lots of cruisers.
But I'm scrolled down, so there's nothing too special here.
Pretty standard making interwar fighters.
But they are a lot of
cruisers.
Have they been doing the math? Is the cruiser points slightly higher?
Yeah, but it could well be that they've worked out that they can get more bang for their buck if they build cruisers in terms of points.
Yeah.
Or it could just be that they prefer cruisers as screens.
Yeah, perhaps. I kind of like a mix though, like 2-1 or 3-1 or something like that.
Yeah, it's the higher durability of light cruisers. Sometimes people prefer, but yeah. You can sort of – either is viable really.
Yeah. So let's see. So It's not a lot of movement here. Actually, we're down to speed 2. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, we should be on higher speed than this.
Yeah, we could probably get a 3.
Got by 1. We'll go up to 3 whilst they're fighting a war. If we've got any players fighting wars, we'll be on speed 3. Otherwise, we'll try and get speed 4 as best we can.
Yeah, there's just an AI on the other side.
Which nation is Daniel controlling? He's controlling Sweden, part of the Northern Lights faction.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's quite nice now. I'm just so happy I have the player map mode button after the last update. Makes it a lot easier to move around. So what's Daniel up to? It's,
yeah,
I'll check out his.
I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah. Per Albin
industry so far.
Yeah, it's kind of standard.
Yes, we're still standard stuff too early on, I guess. We're not at the
building some ships. Not very many. I mean, Sweden's industry isn't the best in the world yet.
It's not a world leader in 1936.
Not yet. Soon though.
There's the naval treaty. Did we have anyone drop out of the naval treaty?
I haven't seen anything. I was wondering if someone would, but maybe they were confused if that would affect things.
Yeah, the British stayed in it. The Italians did. They were probably ones that might have decided to leave it, but they've stayed in.
Yeah, there's not a lot of deployment going on here. I guess he's just trying to get rid of his deficits and stuff.
Okay.
I was still looking at Daniel's stuff here. Let's see if Finland's up to something then. Are they?
It's all pretty standard, I guess. With so few military.
I mean, these guys aren't going to do anything.
There's only so much they can do. Just let's have a look at the Hungarians and Poles, the junior partners in these Central Powers.
That's true.
Because they might be up to something quite interesting.
Yeah.
Defensive focus from the Poles. So that's a mutually exclusive one, isn't it? With the other half of that tree. So they've gone for the side that gives them. Well, it takes them down towards the. I assume they're going to go fascist.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Probably. Unless they're going to do some kind of.
Well, that will be completely left field.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a rule that says you can leave your faction, but it probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I think the idea is they stay together within the factions at least. I mean, we'll probably have enough backstabbing among the factions as it is.
Yeah. No, I suspect they're going to go fascist, right? It would make sense.
Yes, tying themselves with their German friends.
Yep. And what else we got? We got Hungary.
Yes.
Hungary is strengthening the monarchy, as you do.
So he wants to go and elect a king. So will it be a fascist king, or will he go Austria-Hungary? That's one of the key choices for the Central Powers faction. Is do they have a bigger Germany, or do they go for Austria-Hungary and try and dominate the Balkans through that way?
Yeah, with Germany, like a player might actually be better to go Austria-Hungary, maybe deal up the bits.
Yeah, you probably gain sort of more power overall because with Austria-Hungary's focuses, you can end up with land that you wouldn't get as easily through Germany.
So I suspect that's what's going to happen. We'll see if he's jumping straight into next focus or not. Yeah, here we go. King election is ongoing. And let's see.
It's weird that the Franco-Iberians don't have any objective related to the China-Japan war. They don't, but they do have a special objective themselves, which is to keep any and all hostile troops off their lands. So if France has even a single division of hostile troops on their
there goes Austria.
Austria, whoa. Okay, so they haven't gone for Austria-Hungary.
No, so I guess they're going to go fascist then.
So I imagine that they're hoping, therefore, they can get Yugoslavia via Germany's focuses.
Yeah.
So whether or not the Allies play ball with that strategy, we'll have to see. It's interesting. I thought they might have gone for Austria-Hungary.
Yeah. So.
But I guess not.
Yugoslavia seems to be focusing on air here, modernizing the air force.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense with the aluminium that the Yugoslavia has.
Yeah.
They're going to want it to be focusing down the air production.
Yeah. They don't have that much industry yet, though, to focus on. But at least they have that one factory on planes.
Interesting. So, they're trying to make Germany stronger at the expense of the Hungarians. So that's an interesting choice they've made there early on.
Mm-hmm. So
it's just 6 months to go now until wars can be declared. We're already halfway through the grace period.
Yeah.
They've really stopped here, haven't they?
They've really stopped. And I feel like it's a conscious choice, right? Because
it may well
surely
be that
they could be able to focus here.
It may well be that he just wants to get as much XP as possible and then blitz through the doctrine tree as fast as he can.
Yeah, but I'm not really I guess that for Germany, yes, I guess. I don't really see the Spanish player trying to gain much here. Maybe he's just trying to keep his...
Well, whether or not they've come to some kind of accommodation or it's just that he wants to grind XP. But then as Spain, you just want to get it done, wouldn't you? I think just to get your country back together and get the...
It does look like some sort of tourist deal has been struck. It's like, come to my country and train.
Well, where are the German volunteers? Because they're not in that little pincer going on there.
No.
You're
actually right. They are... as you said, it's faster to switch to Germany. Yes,
they are. I got
tricked by the color. That was the same army group as last time. So they're not actually doing very much. They're just defending over here.
So I wonder what their game is there with sending them over.
No, maybe it's just routine. Like,
oh, there goes Ethiopia.
Yeah.
To the Italians. That took a little bit longer than you might have thought, so they must have been grinding, I guess, against the Ethiopians for the army XP. Well, there's our first casualty of the game, the AI. So it's not a player yet, but one nation down. Many more, I suspect, to follow.
Yep. So let's see what is Italy doing now? All right, because.
In the industry, mostly Italy. I think they are sticking by what they said, and they're.
I was going to see if they'd saved up the
cautiously.
jump to triumph in Africa, but they're in the middle of more industry.
Yeah, so they're very much playing it pretty cautious, I think, as they said they were.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting to see when the Sino-Japanese War starts. But I think probably we're going to see kind of a defensive start here, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because everybody seemed to be building up, right?
Yeah, I think there's an element of everyone sort of waiting to see who jumps first, essentially. Who's going to start that war that just then sends 10 different events into motion and causes an enormous conflict.
Yeah.
No one, I don't think many people want to be the nation that play the bad guy, as it were.
Yeah. All right, so there's no.
So they're going. So British are going.
There's no fascism going on here.
No, they're not going wacky and going off down the King's Party route or anything like that.
No.
I wonder if they will go for the Imperial Federation path or the more interventionist British path that helps them to get the oil supply in Iraq and Iran, I think it is.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it might be interesting to try and do the Turkey thing.
Yeah, because of course if they can get through Iraq, their border Turkey, then they can then attack Turkey.
Yeah.
But of course, the thing to remember, everyone, is that the teams don't know what the other team's objectives are. Well, in theory, unless they've been told by their stream chats, in which case that's very bad, and we're disapproving of them. But
shame on you if you did
that. But in theory, they don't know what the other teams are trying to do. So there's an element of trying to sort of negotiate, because some teams might be trying to say to the team, well, hey, we want to do this. We'll let you have this objective on us if we can do that or whatever. But of course, a team doesn't know if they're actually saying their objectives or if it's just
true,
what
actually.
they
think about that. They could be trying to trick them.
It could be a complete wild goose chase, essentially, and they could be selling them a lie.
Yeah.
So there's some interesting diplomacy to take place, and it will be fun to check in with the teams to see if they've been communicating at all with.
Germany seems to be doing a standard thing here. It's going for Sudetenland.
So I see what he's done here actually now. It's clipped me. He's massively overinflated his army size. So Germany's been rush deploying divisions so he can do Sudetenland in July 1936. He's got a massive army.
That makes sense.
So he's very much they're trying to make Germany really strong, really early.
It's 98, but it makes sense, right? That's going to be your biggest sense of strength there.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I don't know though, like normally it's good to have more than one very strong player. Like it's kind of, I would have probably gone for like Austria-Hungary, I think, but I just kind of like Austria-Hungary too.
Doesn't everyone like Austria-Hungary?
I think they do. So how can you not like Austria-Hungary? Alright, so Poland's... We don't have a Romania player. So I wonder what's going to happen to Romania.
So how about the so the Portuguese are a nation we haven't actually looked at yet. They're sitting there very quietly on
That's
the
true. I
west
actually
coast.
almost forgot they existed. So they seem
naval efforts.
They're doing naval stuff. So I guess they're gonna try and bump up the score, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just lots of submarines. I imagine submarine little ships.
Yeah, probably
contribute as much as they can. Because also in land terms, they're going to be quite sort of limited in their capacity.
Yeah, but the Spanish Civil War still. There's not much movement here.
I think that they're definitely dragging it out. I do think they could have, if they were trying to do, they could have won this by now, or almost won it, because they swept through parts of it really quickly.
Oh yeah,
and then they've sort of
they handled the pockets, and now they're just mainly containing. Right, you can see it's mostly defensive battles here.
Yes,
for the most part. Here's some.
So he's just going. His divisions are just standard infantry. Looks like the top one is the one he's using the most. Just straight infantry with engineers and artillery.
Yeah, nobody really has the XP yet, so I haven't been checking the templates.
Make anything wacky and wonderful.
Let's see what Germany's doing actually, because they've got the. Actually.
Someone in chat thinks the Soviet Union will win the game. If the Soviet Union capitulates Germany, we'll take that as a win for the AI.
Yeah, we actually had a game with the Dave team where we were on one faction and we lost to the AI, but we had it like max boosted.
Oh right.
And we weren't exactly playing optimally. There's a lot of style points usually that happens when we play. Yeah, so let's see. So it's Sudetenland.
Almost done. So will it be interesting to see what the British and French decide to say to the Sudetenland?
Yeah.
Are the Germans expecting to have been told no? Which of course would be bad, but it would enable them to declare war for the whole of Czechoslovakia sooner than they would otherwise have to wait. So they might be banking on the Allies saying no to their annexation of the Sudetenland.
They might.
So we'll see what happens when the event fires in the next few hours.
It's very close.
Okay, so the event should be firing now for the British and French players, and we'll see what they say. The anticipation is palpable.
Yes.
To hear the verdict of the governments in London and Paris.
Oh, it's actually they're actually taking the time here.
They are. What are the player-controlled nations? So. Monolho. So we have 4 different factions here fighting. We've got the French, Spanish and Portuguese in one faction, Britain, Sweden and Finland in another, Italy, Greece and Yugoslavia in a third faction, and then Germany, Poland and Hungary in the fourth. So I wonder whether the one of the reasons the Germans decided to do Anschluss so quickly and to not do Austria-Hungary, there goes the mini agreement. So they said yes. They said yes.
Maybe they're just trying to scare them.
So the Allies, the French primarily don't want to have an early conflict with Germany, I guess is what we can read from that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. But, still.
So the Germans continue to expand. Are they going straight down? They're going straight for first Vienna Awards. They're going straight down that path. They're not going for Demand Slovenia. So they're not trying to interfere with the players through that. But of course, can that start a war, that one? I can't remember. If the decision or focus can start a war, it's banned for the first year essentially. So they can't do. The French couldn't refuse the Rhineland, for example.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Germany strong. Well, they're getting strong.
I don't think they would have challenged at that point anyway. Probably.
They would have been very bold to do so.
Yes. To
commit themselves to a war so long, because that's the thing, that it's not just about whether you can win the war. It's do you want to be tied down fighting a war with a certain faction when you could be doing other things to pursue your objectives.
Yeah. See,
so there's a lot to sort of think about when you're declaring these wars.
Took a look at Japan versus China here before the conflict.
Yeah. So is Japan going straight down for his naval estimates at the moment?
Yeah.
I think we have historical AI focuses on, so I think they should do it more or less.
Yeah,
when they did historically.
I think so. I remember that being on, right?
Yes, I think it was. So they should be sort of July 37.
Otherwise, we could have had an interesting surprise where they don't actually go for each other.
It could have been very, very interesting.
Yes.
Well,
we'll just shift it so the player's gonna have to help in the Japanese Civil War instead.